got our podcast, thinking you should watch it. If you driving, man, it's good for you to listen. No, we keep it real. No, we spit it raw. Sports dialogue. No, it's good if I'm involved. No, we're not the news. We just cool dude with nobody to impress. Just talking our shit. Call it Pressman Coverage. Pressman Coverage.
Welcome into Pressman Coverage, a podcast dedicated to you, the fan. We are here to talk about the end of an era. Brian Callahan's tenure with the Tennessee Titans is done. Mike McCoy is now leading the charge for us. So we're going to really break down what exactly that looks like, how other interim coaches have fared overall, a little bit of game preview. Not going to do much of a review, nothing much to talk about in terms of the last game aside from we sucked. And that's why our coach got fired, because he did that 19 other times. Let's sit down and really talk about what an interim coach can do for the team and what our next steps look like as a Tennessee Titans organization. Some may say we're doomed either way because who's at the helm, but hey, who am I to judge or to say? Cody, talk to the people, man. How you feeling today?
She did it again, didn't she? She just did what she always does. Yeah, man. I mean, I think end of an error, I think that's a good way to put it. But I think the way that it all went down is a little bit Amy Adams Strunk like. So we're going to deep dive into it all.
Man, we'll dive into it. So let's talk about what Brian Callahan was and what led to his firing a little bit. So Brian Callahan started this season off 1-5. He notched just 4 wins in his 23 overall games where he had those opportunities. His teams just did not perform. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, we continue to look like a bottom of the league team. We're not providing enough overall, just to kind of look at where we stand right now. Total offense, 285 yards per game, 30th. Total points scored, I should say, per game, 13.8, 32nd in the league. Defense, we're averaging or allowing 340 yards per game, 22nd. Isn't terrible. Points allowed, 23, which is 15th, so right around the midway mark. Passing offense, 32nd. What do you know? Rushing offense, 25th. A little bit better, but not good enough. Passing defense is ranked 13th. Rushing defense is ranked 18th. Our defense has been all right. But, again, you come in, your job is to be the offensive guy for us. You were touted as the quarterback guru, the quarterback whisperer, whatever you may say. He's worked with a lot of talented quarterbacks in his career, but got none of that translated over to us. It's just that simple. We were bottom of the league and everything. Cody, talk to me about how you feel in regards to Brian Callahan's inability to get our offense going and the team rallied in general.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Callahan, great guy. Again, I said that I would vote for him for mayor if it came down to it. I think he's a wonderful human. I think listening to him speak about football is very insightful. I think he speaks the game very well. And he's like the Will Levis of coach. He can't take what his words and put it onto the field and make it make sense. We were talking tiers about the players and coaches early in the offseason, and I was saying that how I felt that he was the worst coach in the AFC South, but it ended up being that he's probably the worst coach in the league. And a lot of that came down to me was just that he just doesn't have, in my opinion, he didn't have a feel for the game. Every time like something felt like it would work, he would like just completely go away from it. He would run the ball 3 straight times and gain 8 yards and then punt. He'd come back, pass it 3 straight times. He did that on the 1-yard line a couple times. And then and really this training camp or whatever, it was really weird to me when we showed up to practice and there was just like no juice like on the practice field. And you would think that when there was practice, like they would be the first couple of practices, like the players be excited to be hyped up and ready to go. And it just never felt like that. And it feels like all this stuff is just carried over.
Man, and that's really a great way to put it, I know what we have in this room.
And it just came off as like fake.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
you know what? It's crazy you say that because it comes off as fake, but I feel like he's a genuine dude. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's one of those things where either he was trying to get himself to believe it, or he was trying so hard to get them to believe it, or that's just not who he is. He's not a rah-rah guy, and he
Hmm.
felt like in a few moments he had to present that. And you know what? I think it's okay for you not to be that guy. Like, you could be the guy who yells and maybe cusses somebody out, but you're not the go team cheerleader type. I think Belichick is that. You know, Belichick, you're not going to see him, yes, oh my God. Like, you're never going to see him do that, but you're going to see him lay into somebody. It's okay to be that guy. But, it's one of those things where if you just don't have that, you don't have that. And I wish he did. I think for a lot of reasons, I wish he was able to work out from a personality standpoint. He's somebody who actually gave some insight to the media, which is better for us, quote unquote, media members of my house's media members, to be able to present information to you guys or just to glean things about the team. Those are really cool. He talks well about he didn't, hide a lot of stuff in terms of the game plan. I mean, he didn't give us everything. But, it was something that was refreshing. And again, like you said, I love to hear him talk football. Great commentator.
Yeah.
That's what Rand did after he left. He jumped into the media space, from an overall standpoint instead of team focused. Why don't you do the same thing, Brian? I actually think he probably would be really good breaking those things down, or just
Hmm.
go back to being an OC that doesn't call plays, because please don't call plays. So that's the most unfortunate side of it. Is that we're 32nd in points, 32nd in passing yards, 30th in total offense, and I get it. I get it. I get it. This roster is not great. This roster is not even average. We have a below average roster, but our team played. How do you even say this, Cody? Below average. Like
That's
we.
what is this
That's the
is this
problem.
roster as bad as what this team looks like on the field, in your opinion?
I don't think so. We just don't look. I think there are ways for you to. For instance, okay, I'll say this: the New York Jets have been in a lot of games this year. They've fought, they've clawed. Even the Miami Dolphins, and I'd say outside of the first couple, they really fought in some of their games, and it looked like they were competing. The Cleveland Browns are a team where their record doesn't show very well, but you can tell that they're competing and they have a chance to be in games. They're just not able to close them out. Those are the things that I would expect. Like, I would expect it to be one or two mistakes from Cam Ward that prevents you from doing it. Maybe the guys who aren't as talented as others prevents you from doing it. They drop the ball a few times or they can't create enough separation.
Hmm.
Or defensive players missing a few tackles. Like, I would expect that to be the thing. But it felt like a lot of times, especially offensively, our guys just weren't in the right spots. Like, it felt like our guys were always one tick that felt like it was coaching related from being able to have a successful play. 25-yard game from Tony Pollard, illegal formation. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, those things. That's why I think our roster is better than what it shows, man. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's also comes down to, I mean, and him not knowing the rules. I think players probably talk about their stuff and they're just like, who the hell are we playing for?
Right.
Like this
Right.
this guy's trying to tell us like what routes I'm running my route wrong, I'm doing this and that wrong, and you
You
don't
know the
know that
rules.
one body part equals 2 feet. And they're probably just like, screw this. Like this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. It's probably hard to like get behind that kind of leadership.
I mean, because just think about it, man. Like, a lot of us have been athletes before, and even in our workspaces, we're all right around the same age as a lot of these players. Late 20s, early 30s, whatever. A lot of these players who really are going to have a voice. The younger guys who are rookies, they see it, but they're still trying to understand themselves and how to be an NFL player. So the guys who really have a voice in the locker room are right around our age. Just because they're professional athletes don't mean they're not humans. They see these things, they hear these things, they understand these things, they feel these things. The same things that we're feeling, just because they're in the locker room and they got some media training to act like they don't, they see and talk about these things all the time. So it's got to be very demoralizing when your coach doesn't know the rules, when your coach consistently is setting your team up to fail, it feels like. And
Hmm.
and similar to what Amani Hooker said, you also know too, all right, well, we know this guy's going to be gone. He's not getting the job done. Now it's going to flip to me. and you start playing a different brand of football. Maybe you start playing a little bit more selfish than you wanted to play. Maybe you start going for that extra interception and making yourself be a little bit out of position. There's a downstream impact that happens when you don't believe in your coach, especially when you know, okay, well, we're so bad, they're going to be just shipping everybody out, which we'll have a trade deadline episode coming up soon because, that's just the next step in the process. It is. Talk about his father, Cody. Father Abraham, you're Mr. Trenches himself. Father Abraham had one son, and his son couldn't coach football. Talk to me, man.
Yeah. Who gets possession of Olga and Bertha? Are they staying around? Or
TD reported that they were still there. Now, I would assume, considering he was fired with probably less than 24 hours notice, he didn't have the U-Haul ready to take Bertha with him. But
was Bill fired?
Bill, well, he wasn't fired.
I think he quit.
He resigned. Yeah, he was like, because the
I'm not staying. You just fired my son.
He was like, you just fired my son, and also I don't need you to fire me. I don't need the little buyout package. I'm good, dog. I've been doing it 20 plus years. I'm good. I'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah, man. I mean, Bill Callahan, dude. I mean, he came in with a lot of hope. He thought that he was gonna be able to fix the offensive line. Probably his first mistake was thinking that he could trust Nicholas Petit-Frere to play right tackle. That was an absolute disaster. And then we drafted, Latham to play left tackle. That didn't work out. Moved Latham back over to right tackle. To be honest, dude, Latham to me has not looked like the number 7 pick so far, even at the right tackle position. I thought he struggled last week against Max Crosby, considering, I know he's coming off an injury and everything. He's going against Max Crosby, but you do expect a little bit more. But yeah, he's just the O-line. I mean, we're still giving up sacks, so many sacks a freaking game. And I'm wondering if he thought that he could just coach up not that good a talent.
Yeah.
And have them playing over their abilities. And dude, like, that is just so hard to depend on in the NFL when you're going against Nick Benito and you're going against Max Crosby and you're going against all these animals at defensive end, dude. Like, it's hard to just say how I can take this guy who's clearly less talented and I'm just going to mold him and we can make it work. That's just a bad strategy, in my opinion. And above that, I mean, Brian Callahan came in his opening press conference. He was asked, how hard is it going to be to, coach around a bad offensive line? And his quote was, it's not going to be hard at all.
Right.
So, I mean, like
that around that. Yeah.
That quote sticks in my brain. The fact that he said that and he was so confident about it. And then we got the worst offense in the league and the quarterback is getting sacked game in, game out 4 or 5 times a game.
Yep. No, I mean, you're exactly right. And, there's a few things that have gotten a little better. I think Dan Moore has played better game over game. He started off pretty rough, and he's just kind of settled into who he is, which is average. It's funny. There's 76 tackles to be graded. He's ranked 34th on Pro Football Focus. He's literally
right there in the middle.
right there in the middle. That is exactly who he is. That's hilarious. But, I completely agree, man. Like, there are little incremental improvements, but not what you thought it would be. And sure, we started off this season, the first 2 weeks, 31st, 32nd. Now we've moved up to 25th overall. But a lot of that is just everybody settling in. And our best weeks, and again, I'm not blaming this guy because he got hurt in the first game. And one of the games he gave up a sack, and then he came back from injury last week. But, JC's been a part of that right tackle position overall. Every single week, whether it's JC or the backup, which I expected from a backup, but you're giving up the most pressures and the most sacks. Every week is coming from that same position. It's like, dude, how do we just rotate, man? Can we just have – I never thought I'd ask for this, given he gave up the most sacks in the league last year. Can we just get 2 Dan Moores out there? Give me 2 average tackles. Like, please. Like, that sounds crazy, but it is what it is. Do I think Latham is going to improve and he's not going to give up 3-4 sacks like he did last week against Max Crosby? Yes. But by the end of this year, I want him to have the Peter Skoronski trajectory. Right now, he could be on that pace in terms of Peter Skoronski the last 8 games of last season, which was his second year in the league. He became a stalwart at guard. I would love for Latham to, all right, you've struggled these first few weeks. We'll give you a few more weeks to get your footing under you. But these last half of the season, you got to be completely locked in and look like one of the best tackles in the league to justify your pick. Peter, even though he was a tackle that got moved to guard and he was selected at 11th, he's an all-pro player, and he's justified that pick. Latham, you got to get somewhere close. At least look like a potential Pro Bowler being a top 10 pick at tackle at your natural position.
You ain't going to believe this, but I saw an article where they were talking about kicking JC inside.
I saw that too. Him being the Zeitler replacement next year.
Hey, listen. Like, if we took guards with the number 7 and the number 11 pick, I'm not going to be well, okay? I'm not going to be well. If you start off at left tackle and then you get moved over to right tackle and then they move you into guard.
Like, dog. Mind you,
I mean, like, what are we? Is he too big? Is he still too big?
Yeah, I need to see what these next 3 to 4 games look like to answer that. Because the first game, I'm like, all right, your hip got hurt trying to keep up with some of these younger, quicker guys. Not younger, but more athletic guys. You know, Max Crosby's just an animal. I get it. But at the same time, you got beat around the edge a lot. And, you know, they were talking about it on the broadcast, a little bit in the film work that I saw. Strategically, Crosby was lining up super wide to really test his range. There was a time where he was lined up in front of Tyler Lockett like he was going to guard the slot receiver and started going. You know, so it's pretty interesting to see, man, how that could work, how maybe things could change. But overall, man, just need more out of him. So, okay.
Callahans are not good at developing. Tackles weren't developed. Quarterbacks haven't developed. Offense didn't develop. They just suck at developing. That's just all there is to it.
That's just it. I'm going to take a step back for a second. I'm going to give you the floor. I want to just have how deep are we into this episode? Okay, 16 minutes. I'm going to give you a second to just talk about Amy Adams Strunk. To paint the picture, 2022, Robinson, 2023, Vrabel, got Rand, got Callahan. We're just on this trajectory of just spiraling. Tell me your thoughts on Amy Adams Strunk. I'm going to take a step back. Cody, remember, one day we would love to be picked up by the Titans.
So yeah, I mean, look, I think
the B word. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think, dude. So in 2002, when we fired John Robinson in the middle of the season, just because AJ Brown stunted on us and he was smacking the goalpost, and Eagles fans were turning around saying, "Hey, thank you," giving her the middle finger even, and she was embarrassed. She was embarrassed at the fact that happened. And so she just completely pulled the plug. She completely pulled the plug on John Robinson, who had a 60% winning percentage. We were 7-3 when that happened. I mean, we were first in the AFC South. Okay, so fine. Like, I mean, I think some of the Titans fans were probably on board with that. I personally wasn't. I probably was still, I don't know if I still have John Robinson right now, but he still won. And Mike Vrabel and John Robinson were on the same timeline. Okay, so now we no longer have John Robinson. We get Rand Carthon. And so what Amy Adams Strunk does is that she does this little teeter-totter thing where she finds one, she's like, I like you. And then so now it's Mike Vrabel she likes. And then she brings in Rand Carthon, and Rand Carthon like starts wowing her or whatever. And she's like, you know what? I like you. And so with the Mike Vrabel, when Mike Vrabel started struggling, really when Mike Vrabel went to that, what was it, the Ring of Honor or whatever for the Patriots? Was it a Ring of Honor? Yeah. And he says, hey guys, it's not like this everywhere else. Just realize that. She was probably like, excuse me? She got embarrassed again. She can't handle being embarrassed. Okay, so then she fires Mike Vrabel. Who speaks on this? Rand Carthon has to speak on it, and he looks like a deer in the headlights. Who had to speak on John Robinson being fired? Mike Vrabel, and he had to look like a deer. In the headlights. Where is Amy? Where's Amy? Okay, so here's the other thing. So now we bring in Brian Callahan. Rand Carthon gets fired. Now she's like, I like you, Brian Callahan. And then we bring in Borgonzi, and after we 5 games in. We fire Brian Callahan, and who goes up there and talks about it? Chad Brinker and Borgonzi, and they look like deer in the headlights. They have no idea what's going on because she never has a plan for any of this stuff that she does. She just reacts.
Yep.
And so they fire somebody. They fire Brian Callahan. There's like, well, who y'all know who's going to be the interim head coach? No. Do you know who's going to be the interim head coach? No. We had to wait 6 hours to get a press conference about it, and they looked completely like so confused. And Mike Borgonzi just looks. He's just like, why did I do? Why did I take this job? Why did I take this job? And Brinker, he's just like he would give Borgonzi like, you can answer this one. You can get. Who's the GM? Who's the GM? Do we know?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you can make all the decisions, but they have to be approved by me. So
listen,
you're
she
the decision maker.
She has taken a team that was 12-5. This is all her. Like Brian Callahan's a symptom. She is the core of the problem. Okay. And so until she sells the freaking team, I don't think this is ever going to change. I think this is who she is. She can't make her mind up, and then she'll just pull a trigger. She'll just be like, "Nope, we're firing him today. We know he had a plan. All plans are good until a nuclear warhead comes in and just blows it all up." I mean, this is just who she is, dude. I mean,
yeah.
She when we were winning, and I remember going to the Kansas City playoff game at Arrowhead Stadium when Mariota caught the ball to himself. She was out at the tailgate. She was hanging out. We had a couple friends take pictures with her. She's all about it. She's having fun. She's smiling. Now when times get tough, where's she at? She's hiding, dude. She doesn't talk. She has no accountability. And PK goes up. He's like, "Where's Amy Adams Strunk?" And Chad's like, "What do you mean? Where is she? She's at her house.
In Texas.
Get out of here, dude." In Texas. Dude,
it's ridiculous. Like, for me, at least come in, address the players and the coaching staff. You know what I mean? Hey, this is a decision that we made. Again, at least a happy medium to show the players that you're serious, the people who you are paying. Hey, this is what I did. You don't have to even go into a crazy amount of detail. I felt like it was the right decision for the team. This is who's going to, the GM will talk about who's filling in, but I made this decision. I want to open up the floor for any questions you may have for me. At least do a closed team-only session and answer those questions for the players, because I'm thinking, if I'm a player, I haven't seen Amy talk to us about anything. And again, I understand owners have a role. Like, I'm not trying to act like owners should be in there talking through decisions. Hey, you dropped the ball last week. I'm watching you. Like, none of that. They shouldn't be talking about anything that's truly football related. But personal decisions, or personnel decisions, that come from you. And once it's repetitive, speak on it. If it's one time, hey, I just fired Brian. It's the first fire we had in 5 or 6 years. Y'all can talk about it. They know we're stable. They should be able to trust us. But once there's distrust, you have to have communication. It's just that simple, and she refuses to do it.
Well, she has created this culture where it's just nothing but cover your own ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it's going to start turning into like when we hire a new coach or whatever, and we have the same GM and they're on 2 different timelines. And if Cam Ward's struggling or whatever, it's going to be, well, I didn't draft Cam Ward.
Yep.
I mean, Cam Ward's not my guy.
Yep.
That's why like I just want the whole just if you're going to do a rebuild, the rebuild doesn't really start until the coach and the GM are on the same page. And once again, they're completely not on the same page because the coach is gone. Borgonzi's like, why the hell did I take this job? Because he's like, I was told I was going to make decisions or whatever. Like, so it's going to be the same thing. And I think Brinker probably knows. I mean, he was up there stuttering. He was looking all nervous and everything. He probably knows that he's next on the chopping block. But my problem is how has he survived until now?
None of this has to do with him. And I love, I watch other Titans podcasts. I'm not one of those people who, I only watch my content. I was watching what MCA was putting on Twitter. I think it was Justin Graver who tweeted it. He was just saying, he doesn't feel like the Brinker hate is warranted. Like, he wasn't truly in power when a lot of these decisions were made. This is his first year in power. He got rid of a bad head coach, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. He had influence. There's no way he can continue to say, well, it wasn't me. It was him. I wasn't in power when that happened. You know what I mean? Like, we can't continue to do that. And what happens if the roster looks bad at this point? Like, do we now get rid of Berganzi and Brinker? You know what I mean? Like, because of this convoluted leadership structure, it just doesn't make any sense. And I don't know how you continue to move forward with that in mind. So,
And he has the balls to go up there and say, well, we've won 9 Super Bowls.
like, what are you talking about, sir? You were an assistant scout. You were an assistant scout.
We've seen a lot of winning football.
Like, we don't care about that. It's not even what have you done for me lately. Like, let's just talk about the first 4 words of that. What have you, I lied,
done?
6 words. Done for me. What have you done for me? I don't care what you did for somebody else. Well, me and my ex, we had great communication. We never argued. Dog, we don't care. We're talking about us right now. Like, that was just sometimes, and I get it. I want to say this. I think a lot of those things come out, and we tend to be the team that says stupid things sometimes, or things that don't make sense, purely because you're coming up there unprepared. You're flustered. You're just saying things. And in his mind, he felt like this is going to give them reassurance because he's feeling so much pressure up there. It was a very heated, not in terms of the words said, but the general tonality press conference. And it's not their fault. Again, even the media said it. Like, we didn't want to come in with the intention of Brinker or Berganzi feeling like we're totally against them, or it's them, or we're blaming them. But we need Amy to feel the heat through you guys of what's going on. And that's the part that I don't like, because now our view of Berganzi and Brinker, they look like idiots up there, but it's not their fault. If you woke up this morning, Cody, and you're very intelligent, you could do this, but just a hypothetical. I'm like, hey, Cody, build out a show sheet. Go ahead. You got 5 minutes to prep. I'm not going to make it today. Boom, gone. You're going to go up there and do the job, but it's not going to be as crisp because you didn't have time to prepare. If I gave you a day or two to do it, you come in and you be a rock star at it because you know what you're talking about. You can talk about what's happening. You know what's happening down the line as well. You can do a little predictive modeling. Right now, they're just going on the fly, man. So shout out to our staff in terms of the media team for presenting that, because that's how we feel as fans. I would love to be up there asking those questions, because at the end of the day, man, we need answers. We need answers.
Yeah, I mean, like, when we know we're not going to get them from our owner. I mean, she's too much of a coward. She's never going to talk ever again. And by the way, Amy, if we start winning again, if and when we start winning again, we don't want to see you.
Nope.
The entire fan base, we are done with you.
Yep. It's just, and I don't know, man. It's one of those for me that's like, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. It's just that simple. Like, it's just that simple for me. Okay, look, let's move forward to the decision that was made to bring Mike McCoy over. So just to give everybody a little bit of background on Mike McCoy. Mike McCoy was our senior offensive assistant. He, obviously hasn't coached a game in this role yet, but he does have a resume that's respectable for an interim head coach. A lot of times interim head coaches, sometimes they don't have any experience coaching games. It's just your most promising coordinator, whatever it is. This guy's done it before. He was a head coach of the San Diego Chargers 2013 through 2016, had a 27-37 overall record, 42%. He had a playoff appearance in made it to the divisional round in 2013. He was a former offensive coordinator for Denver, Arizona, Jacksonville. He's worked with Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Trevor Lawrence, whatever you want to call it. His records during his tenure with the Chargers were 9-7, 9-7, 4-12, 5-11. Get out of here. This is the thing that, he was a guy who had the 5th overall offense in terms of yards ranked. He ranked 18th in yards, 9th in yards, 14th, 12th in points, 17th in points, 26th in points, 9th in points. His defenses have always been on the lower side of the league, not the worst, but there. Overall, his team averaged 365 yards per game, which was 9th in the NFL. A lot of times his offenses were well structured, they were efficient, but his defenses struggled in late games a lot. What our expectation for him is to come in and provide some more structure to the offense. I do think that Brian Callahan's offense had certain elements to it that could be productive, but I think it was tailored towards the type of quarterbacks that he worked with. This is one thing about Mike McCoy that I do like. He's done it before, and I do think he's going to raise the expectation level of our players in terms of, hey, if you're not getting the job done, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to get somebody else in here, whether it's a backup, practice squad player, trade you, whatever it is. And he's going to
Amen.
make cleaner decisions when it comes to that. I think his game management will be fine. I think, because again, he's done it as a head coach. He's been a coordinator for multiple years. Like he's somebody who's got experience in this role. He was actually, Brian Callahan's mentor for a little bit. People are like, oh, he's his mentor. No, he might be worse. Whatever. A lot of times, it just is what it is. But I do think he's done it before, and he's somebody who can fill this role in a respectable fashion. Cody, what are your thoughts on Coach Mike McCoy?
Yeah, I mean, I liked this press conference a lot. I thought he spoke really well. I thought he was just basically just like, hey, we gotta get back to the basics. Like we suck at the fundamentals. Like we've got to try to figure out like how to just do the basics and not jump off sides 6 times a game. I do see where you have he worked with Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, and Trevor Lawrence, and you omitted Tim Tebow on his magic run.
Definitely purposeful.
Definitely. I'm just saying, bro. He mentioned Tim Tebow on the press
I was
conference
so mad. I'm like,
used
why
the
are
word
you doing this?
and used the word great.
The greatest tight end ever.
Hey, bro. I was listening. I was like, let's go. He hasn't forgotten.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I mean, he's been ahead of some high-powered offenses, and if you can score 20 points here, and if you beat Mike Vrabel, you may get a contract. Like, right, she may just hand it right to you. So,
I mean, what
good
is
luck
it? Two
to
of
you.
our last 3 interim coaches have become the head coach of the team, and he's
Well,
named Mike.
it was Mike Mularkey and who was the other one?
Man, was it gosh, man, I forgot. I hate that you put me on the spot here. I don't remember, but I thought 2 of the last 3.
Munchak?
Is it Munchak?
Was it
might be.
Munchak?
It might be. Okay. Well, I'll jump over and just talk about interim coaches in general and kind of what that's looked like. Well, first, let me take a step back. What I'm hoping to see in Mike McCoy's offense is this. Brian Callahan had worked with some really good quarterbacks. You talk about the Staffords of the league, you talk about the Joe Burrows, and his offense is a timing-based offense. And if that timing is thrown off, which is, natural in football, but if that timing is thrown off, you can't go back to that read a lot of times. There's not, secondary steps built in for those initial reads. It's a lot of times 1, 2, 3. You can't really go back to 1 check down. That's really what it is. I'm hoping that because of Cam Ward's style, Cam Ward just flat out, he's not the processor of Stafford and Burrow. That's not how he works mentally. He's not the same processor of Peyton Manning, somebody else who he's worked with, Brian Callahan. I'm not saying Cam Ward is slow or whatever. That's just not the way he works. I wouldn't say Patrick Mahomes is the same level of processor as them. He's somebody who you want to give him options that are available. Let him choose the best option out of those based on his feel for the game, based on what he thinks is going to make sense for those moments. Not something where if you're not here at this moment, you can't get back to that. And I get it. Decisions have to be made quickly in football. You don't have 10 seconds back there to really break it down. But allow him to play not so much in a structure that's built on you have to process immediately in order for this to be successful. And if you can't, it's check down Charlie. That's what we saw happen with Will Levis. That's what we've seen happen with Cam Ward. Will Levis, his completion percentage shot through the roof because everything became at the line of scrimmage. Cam Ward had his highest completion percentage by about 10 or 12 points this past game because 9 of his completions were at or around the line of scrimmage. We want to get to a place where Cam Ward can play free, can open up, he can make quicker decisions because his brain isn't so focused on, hey, I gotta look at this person first. Yes, you can have your naturally built first options in the offense. That's what you're supposed to have. There's primary receivers almost on every play. But allow him to get in rhythm by doing what he does. I want to see shorter drop backs. He dropped back. Cam Ward already had an issue with depth in college in terms of how far he dropped back. Give him some 3-step drops, let it go. Give him
He'll
some
go all the
play
way in the
action.
tunnel if he could.
Literally. Give him some play action opportunities. Give him some quicker decisions where the ball can just get out of his hands, some slant routes, whatever it may be. He was excellent at throwing crossers in the league. Play action is a great way to allow crossers to get across the field, having, the extra 1 or 2 seconds built in to faking it to the back. Like, build in some of those things. Allow him to do what he does best. Give him some of the RPO game. Cody, any thoughts on what you want to see potentially change? Yes, we have the same play caller, but maybe, Mike McCoy's influence can change some things. But give me some thoughts on what you're thinking.
Yeah, I when you're saying that his offense and stuff was kind of built, I know they're going to change the offense, but just like strictly just based off of time and everything, I was like, I don't like that for Cam Ward. I don't like that at all. I don't think that's good for him. Really, what I want to see for this, I just want to see Cam Ward on the move. I think he just plays better when he's not just sitting back there having the process. I think he's better just when his feet are moving and he can kind of just freelance. I want to see more RPOs. I want to see stuff like that. Just like let him like get into a flow state where he's just not having to think so much. Because I think if he's kind of just playing freely, I think that's when Cam Ward can be special.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're exactly right, man. And yeah, we're not saying every play move the pocket or every play action, but like just have that be a core staple of the offense, like something that we rely on. A core staple is ran about 40% of the time. We're not asking even for half the time do it. Like, but just make that something where you can lean on the run game. Tony Pollard's actually run the ball pretty well this season. Spears showed some juice last week. Like, give them options and make the defense have to really account for other things versus just, hey, we're going to dink and dunk and try to figure it out because we need some big plays. We have seen, few big plays here recently. Sure, Calvin Ridley being out affects that, but it is what it is. We'll talk more about Calvin Ridley here in a little bit. So, real
I did
quick,
think it was
no,
pretty
go ahead.
funny. I did think it was pretty funny that how a lot of the fan base has been calling for the Titans just to run 2-minute offense just the entire time. I saw Easton Freeze tweeted. He was like, Titans fans want them to run a 2-minute offense the entire game. That's when the defense will be out there for 55 minutes.
Exactly it, man.
Yeah.
Like I get it, man. No huddle, this and that, but there's still a time and a place for that. Like, let's have some nuance to it. And yes, we want to see more of it, but those things and those principles aren't reliable. The best
Mhm.
teams in the league that score a lot of points aren't in hurry up all the time. They mix it in when the feel is right. Okay, we got them on their heels. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But not, run, rush into this. We can't do that. We can't do that. And honestly, our team really isn't built for that. You also have to have
Yeah.
some playmakers. And
Yeah.
we just have
Let me
people who
ask
play football.
let me ask you one more thing.
Mhm.
Do you think Amy Adams Strunk fired Brian Callahan the week before this game to try and get a new coach bump? Just like trying anything.
100%. I called this about 3 or 4 episodes ago. Brian Callahan is going to be fired before the Patriots game. Trying to go for the new coach bump, but also it's her built-in excuse. Sure, Mike, you beat me when I had an interim guy who been there less than a week. Like, that's her get out of jail free card for her conscience, not even for like actual production on the field. Do I think that the team will play a little bit better this week? I do. I do think the team is going to play a little bit better. And the loss just went from being 20 plus to maybe just barely over double digits. Whatever. Like, at the end of the day, I do think this was strategic. This was something that was always in the back of her mind. And the way the loss looked against the Raiders was just her excuse to do it. That's where I'm at.
God,
So,
dude, most
it's
dysfunctional
ridiculous.
franchise in all of sports.
You better believe it. So let's take 3 minutes here to talk about the new coach bump that you just mentioned and what that actually looks like and how that plays out. So you had Greg Williams, who filled in for Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson was 2-5-1. Greg Williams came in for the Browns in 2018, went 5-3, improved from a 31% win percentage to a 62% win percentage. Bill Callahan, ironically, filled in for Jay Gruden, who was 0-5. Bill Callahan went 3-8, So he went from a 0% win percentage to a 27% win percentage. Romeo Crennel came in for Bill O'Brien, who was 0-4 at the time in 2020. Went 4-8, 33% win percentage from 0. Rich, I don't know how to say his name, Bisaccia, filled in for
Italiano.
who was 3-2. He was 7-5, and he improved, and they made the playoffs that year. Jeff Saturday came in for Frank Reich. What a disaster! They are the only interim coach in these last few years who got worse. He was 1-7 after Frank Reich was 3-5-1, from a almost 40% win percentage to a 13% win percentage. Steve Wilkes in 2022, getting kind of close. Matt Rule was 1-4. Steve Wilkes comes in 6-6. They approved the 500. You've got Antonio Pierce, the most recent one, filling in for Josh McDaniels, who was 3-5. Antonio Pierce went 5-4. Again, at 55% win percentage from a 38% win percentage. So the new coach bump is not just a figment of the imagination. It's a real thing. 71% of those coaches came in, improved their coach's overall team record. The two that didn't was John Gruden was 3-2. So, and then Rich Bisaccia came in and he was 7-5. And of course, Jeff Saturday was Jeff Saturday. So 71% of those coaches improved. Interim coaches since 2018 are 9-9 in their first game. 50% chance to win. We're 1-5 this year. I'll take those odds,
take
baby.
50%.
And on average, teams typically go from about a 29% win percentage before the firing to about a 40% win percentage after the firing. So not elite, but a measurable bounce overall. So the interim coach bump is real. Cody, do you believe in the interim bump? And what does that look like for Tennessee?
I don't believe in it this week. I think that 50% is about to be 9-10. Yeah, I think they'll probably play harder, but I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah.
But as long as there's no coaching malpractices and just we're looking like complete doofuses, and I'm okay, cool.
Yeah. And that's just it. I think that why the interim coach bump happens, you get simplified schemes. A lot of times interim coaches come in and they always talk about simplifying things. Every interim coach comes in and talks about practicing faster, like every previous coach for the last 10 years have just been lollygagging before. I don't know. But I think it just emotionally and spiritually gives the players a bump. Even if you don't actually go faster, the energy is up higher. The emotional lift for the players.
We need it.
We definitely need it. The players respond to a fresh voice a lot of times, and the fresh energy that comes with that. If I'm an interim head coach, I'm getting my shot to be a head coach in the NFL. I'm coming in fired up. I'm excited. Like, people look at it from Mike McCoy's standpoint and why that energy is real that comes into the players, because he's, man, I didn't think I'd have another opportunity to be a head coach. I'm here now, and I'm going to make sure I do everything I can to make the best of it, because this is a career-changing opportunity for me. So what the players feel is real, which means they're going to translate that into good energy as well. And then also locker room responsibility, and accountability. Some of the roles reset, or start to refocus a little bit, and they really start having the conversations of, hey, again, like Hooker said, it was Brian first. It's going to be us next. Let's really lock in. And also, let's make this guy look good and prove to them that it's not the players. It was the coach. We're good. We're good.
I like it.
So let's talk for 5 minutes here, because really this is the smallest part of having a game this weekend, is the Patriots versus Titans. Cody, the line has moved. Where is the line currently? We're at -7.
Was it -7? I think it opened at 4.5, so it has moved drastically. They know Mike Vrabel's be coming in there smoking his Marlboro Reds. It's gonna be a problem.
It's about to be rough. The Pats have won 3 straight. All 3 games are on the road as well. We come in this game just trying to find a pulse. Not even trying to find a win, but can we look like a competitive team? So, going to go through this real quick. Just a team comparison. Total offense: Titans 30th, almost 100 more yards per game, with the Patriots being 18th. Points scored, we're 32nd. Patriots are 14th. They're at 22.2. Total defense, we're at 22nd. Give up 340. They give up the 10th They're 10th, excuse me, 310. Points allowed, we're 15th at 23. They're at 20. Passing offense, we're 32nd at 150 yards per game. They are 12th with 220. Rushing offense, we're 25th with 134. They're 20th with 105. Passing defense, we're 13th, so we're a little bit better there, 209. They give up 239 yards per game, so they're 25th. In rushing defense, we are 18th, giving up 131 a game. They are 4th, giving up only 83 yards per game. Overall, tell me what you think about this matchup, Cody. We're not even going to talk about keys to success. We may give predictions, but just tell me what you think about this matchup overall. Let's think about it from a player's perspective. Vrabel's about to come in and want to kick our teeth in.
Man,
But from a player's perspective, how do you think we're going to fare this week?
I mean,
Any
just
key matchup.
looking at the numbers, dude. I mean, we are just completely outmatched. If you just look at it it just takes me back. I know you want to talk about the players. It just takes me back to like a lot of how this fan base reacted when they wanted Mike Vrabel fired because he couldn't run a good offense or whatever. And his offensive numbers are pretty good this year. So yeah, just one of those things. But yeah, it's gonna be Cam Ward against their pass rush. They got a pretty good pass rush, led by former Tennessee Titan Harold Landry, who I do believe is actually questionable. So
Yeah, he is questionable. He didn't practice all week, but ended up being questionable.
is he okay? So yeah, he's got 4.5 sacks this year, and he's looked pretty good this year. He looks like he's got a new coach bump as well, from what it looks like. Because when he ended the last year with us, he looked like he was in the dumpster. But yeah, Cam Ward, I mean, he's been sacked 25 times, dude. They got to figure out a way to protect him. J.C. Latham's going to be playing. Dan Moore's going to be playing. I think the full allotment of the line is going to be playing. So we need them to hold up, because if not, I mean, one thing about Mike Vrabel, dude, he is good at scheming up about how to, pick on a rookie quarterback, even though he did lose to Zach Wilson that one time. So, and you got Pollard and Spears going against their run defense. The Pats are allowing 83.5 rushing yards per game, fourth in the NFL, and haven't allowed any running back to hit 50 yards all season. Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah,
And then
we
Drake
gotta
May.
find ways. Goodness.
Yeah, do you have to? And Drake May to me is I mean, if you want to sprinkle a little money somewhere on an MVP candidate, Drake May's not a bad bet. I mean, he's looked really good this year. 1,500 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 2 picks, 73% completion percentage, dude. He looks really freaking good. So, I mean, talk to me, Lynn. What do you think about Drake May, dude? I think last year he looked like White Vic. Now he's starting to look like he's starting to piece it all together to me, and he's looking like a complete talent.
He is, man. And I'll tell you what, at the beginning of the year, let's say Ridley's healthy, the wide receiver rooms, they weren't that far apart. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like they have this elite receiver core. We were both considered to have the worst wide receiver rooms in the league. Like, we were those teams. And he's made it look good. He's take those lemons and turn it into lemonade. And we're playing at home this week. Woo, woo, woo. Actually, no. Boo, boo, boo. When we play at home, we're very shaky. Our secondary is not look good. At home, we're allowing 37 points per game at home. So we are a team where we've got to come out and really play well if we're going to have a chance, because Drake Mays, his deep shots has really been what's opened up the game. They're going to hit you early, run underneath, and as soon as you lack, they're going to scheme up something and go right over your head. That's what they've been doing for years in terms of play calling staff. What's it, Mr. Josh McDaniels over there, who's known for that. So, we've got to figure out a way to be able to do it. The problem's going to be for us is on the flip side of the ball as well. Arden Key's out, who may be traded, or maybe a sneaky out. He maybe
Femi's out.
Femi's out. Draymond Jones is questionable. Like, dog, we're in trouble.
Hey, Vrabel's gonna say, "You see 98, everybody just run right to him."
Just that's just going to be that simple. And maybe we'll have T'Vondre Sweat back, but at the end of the day, when you already had a weaker edge rush unit, and yes, I do want to make sure I stop and pause. Femi had his best game of the year last week. Draymond Jones had his best game of the year last week. All of a sudden, Draymond Jones was unblockable. Todd Ward was almost unblockable. They had really, really good games last week by our standards. And really proven like a serviceable defensive
by our
line.
standards.
And then all of a sudden, everybody's out. It's not just one. We knew Femi, but Arden's out, Draymond's out. So we'll see if we can get any pressure. But at the end of the day, we're in trouble. The
Mm-hmm.
prediction that comes from our stats department, aka AI, is Patriots 28, Titans 13. They'll go 5-2, 4 straight road wins. It looks like based on AI that McCoy's debut is going to show more structure, but the talent gap and injuries are going to be too much to overcome. I think it's more than that. But Cody, give me your prediction, and we'll wrap it up today.
So I've been thinking about this one. Paul Kuharski, he was saying that the Titans need to figure out what they can buy that will get blood out of artificial turf. And I agree. I think they are going to absolutely maul us. I think Vrabel's going to come in with a message to send. I think he's going to run it up if he has the opportunity. And I think he's going to have plenty of opportunity to do that. I think Travion Henderson's probably going to figure out a way to get going. He hasn't been used that much, to be completely honest with you. But, I mean, neither was Willie Marks, and Willie Marks went crazy against us. They'll probably get some garbage time touchdowns. And I think, 59-0. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but I think it could be pretty close. 45-10. I think the Patriots will come in here. I think it's going to be basically a road game. I think there's going to be a bunch of freaking Patriots fans inside the stadium. And I think there's going to be a lot of Titans fans in there that are going to be cheering on Mike Vrabel, to be completely honest with you, because there's still a lot of this fan base that don't like the fact that he's gone and the fact that he's, me included. I think it was one of the worst decisions made in this franchise was firing him. But he's on the Patriots now. They're 4-2. We're 1-5 with an interim coach now. So 45-10. What about you, Lim?
Man, I've got us. We're gonna give up that 37 or more.
Taking the over.
I feel that in my bones. I see us being. I'm just gonna say 38-13. That's just where I've got it. Was that exactly what AI predicted? No, they said 28-13. Yeah, I've got 38-13. I think there's going to be some turnovers. I do expect Cam actually to look better this game. But at the end of the day, it won't be enough. I mean, we have Calvin Ridley's out. We have no type of weapons. Van Jefferson caught all the balls that came his way. But I mean, it just is what it is. Tyler Lockett, it's time to sit it down. Everybody's calling for Restrepo. I don't really care at this point.
He doesn't need to play. Tyler Lockett does not need to play. And by the way, who looks rejuvenated on the Patriots is Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs looks like he's back on the Bills with Josh Allen. I mean, he looks like old Stephon Diggs to me. And if he looks like that, we're going to have trouble guarding him.
100%. Like, I think this is one of the first years because he's been coming off of an injury into the next season for like 2 or 3 years straight. And I think now he's kind of settled in and he's settled into his role. And he's somebody, if you give him the targets, man, he's going to make something happen. He's always had the talent. He's just been injured, and now that he's healthy and truly healthy, not just came off an injury last week healthy, I think things can really trend up for him. So I'm in agreement. Tyler Lockett, it's time to sit him down. Again, this is the Titans retirement home, where players will come in and have their worst season by far with us. And here it is continuing. Go ahead and sit them down. Give our young guys some opportunity. Give them some burn. DK has already been out snapping him the last 3 weeks. So let's just continue that trend. And, hey, elevate somebody else. Bryce Oliver's still out. Let's just see what we can do. But this is going to wrap up the episode for today. This is a very, very sad occasion because at the end of the day, we are walking into another slaughterhouse. Mm-hmm. We predicted wins last week. That feels good. And got beat by double digits again. But we shall see.
You think Amy will be there?
Where's Amy? At her home.
I need a camera. I need like a channel. Just specifically, there's a camera just on her as this game is going on. And just Vrabel just like looking right up at the window.
I mean, there's just no chance. There's just no chance. She's not even going to step foot in the state of Tennessee. Because if fans know she's there, she knows she can't be seen. People are going to boo the heck out of her all game.
Yeah.
Period. The next time she's seen in public, she could be at a charity event. You're getting booed. We don't care. But it's what it is. All right, that'll do it for today's episode. We'll come back with a recap. We'll talk about a little bit of trade deadline candidates. We'll talk about exactly what we think the future looks like for the Titans. Hey, heck, we might even have a draft talk. Who cares, man? We're there now. We've been there.
That's right.
Let me not even just say
Caden Proctor to the moon.
Oh, no, man. We cannot do this, dude. But, man, thank you guys for spending some time with us. We'll catch you guys soon. DMC out.
Peace. In the words of Randy, press me.